get us kicked off, and then I'll go ahead and hand it over to you. Is that all right?
Sure.
Cool.
I've got me and Keith Sweat here from Bill, Colorado. I'm the one who did the setup on this, and I'll be doing the monthly reporting as well. And also, when you do an introduction, if you'll refer to this list I have for the turnover form and make sure I'm not leaving anybody out or if somebody's not there that I have already listed.
Okay, yeah, we do have a couple additional personnel, and we'll work on that list. It might be easier to just email it over.
Okay, that'll work.
Cool. All right, so good morning, everybody. First of all, thanks for joining us. So my name is Daryl Barbata. I'm the service manager for the Northern District of Schneider Electric. So I'm responsible for the delivery and execution of you guys' services. We've gone through the setup and installation of Building Analytics, which is an extension of our Building Advisor program. Basically, and Bill, you can kind of get into a little bit more detail, but Schneider's huge in this space, and so we have a lot of data and tribal knowledge that helps us to really take the information that we can gather from your system and provide really quick diagnostics in regards to performance and operation, energy, etc. So it's a really valuable tool. It's one of the things I'm personally the most excited about within Schneider, and I really think will help direct some of your maintenance activities while also providing some additional energy reporting information. So the intent of this meeting is basically to introduce you guys to the tool, explain kind of the functionality, some of the core components, answer any questions, walk you through how you can really get the most out of it, and how we'll be utilizing it, and we'll be coordinating some of those meetings moving forward. So I'm sure we'll look to you guys to say who's going to be in those meetings and who's really best to attend them. But regardless, just as a user in general, this will at least walk you through what it is, what data is available, and really how to utilize it. So with that, we also have Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra Tulak. I'm newer to Schneider. I came over from Graybar. I was doing primarily lighting controls, and I'll be working with Daryl.
So Kendra will be one of you guys' point of contacts from the sales side. So any upcoming projects or anything like that, she'll be a point of contact. And we're working on kind of getting her ramped up and up to speed. But this was really a good opportunity for her to meet you and the team, and then also just to really walk her through kind of building analytics as well and get her exposed to it. She's had a little bit of understanding, but this was a good opportunity to kind of sit through it firsthand. I'm sure everybody here probably knows Abram.
Hello, how you guys doing?
So Abram is your primary technician assigned at your site. He conducts the majority of the PMs unless there's, he's on PTO or vacation. You also have a secondary assigned as well. And I mean, if you guys want to just go through it, maybe just give a quick introduction, maybe name, title, whatever else you want to share. If you have any questions now, feel free to get those out there too.
I'm James Eckerly, Assistant Chief. No real questions yet. I mean, I guess it'll be for the end.
Cool.
Rich Boyer, stationary engineer.
And Seth Duvall, journeyman.
See.
Richard Wong, marine engineer.
Dennis, Chief Engineer.
Matt, engineer. Right on. Well, nice to meet you guys. I'm glad you guys can make it. On the line we have Bill, Colorado, and Keith Sweat. So we have a team of people really that they're not local to the area, but they are really the ones in charge of these building analytics and these programs. They're also the same ones that you would reach out to if you needed remote support, right? So that's a really nice functionality of not having this kind of platform already installed is the opportunity for you guys to get remote support is there. And we've got a team of highly skilled, highly trained guys and gals that have been doing this for a lot of years. So if for some reason you had something come up and you need a question, with your BMS, you can call that into the Service Bureau and just into the BSRC, which you are probably already familiar with calling. It's a number on everybody's signature. It's probably on all of our voicemails. You can call that number and just ask for remote service or the service bureau, and they'll get you in contact with one of these guys, and they can instantly log in really quickly and help you diagnose the problem. The limitations there obviously are they can't verify things in the field, but I would say that in today's day and age, 80 to 90% can be fixed remotely, and so it reduces the response time. Right, you can get something answered really quickly, and you're definitely getting highly trained individuals on the other end. So Bill and Keith, if you guys just want to do a quick introduction, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
All right, Bill Colorado. Like I said earlier, I did the setup on this. I want to say I've done a remote support call for Chinese Hospital already. So appreciate y'all using us for that. And if it's something I can't fix remotely, I can at least get good notes and part numbers and maybe and have notes for the technician like Abram, so when he goes out there, he'll have the proper parts or whatever he needs and have a little bit of heads up of what he's going after. But I'm going to go into building analytics and show you how to use it. And I also have Keith Sweat here, who he's also the bureau and runs a lot of our projects. But the first thing I'm gonna need, I'll remind everybody at the end, or Daryl or whoever's gonna send, I need a list of all the Schneider employees and Chinese Hospital employees that want log in to building analytics to be able to look at the things I'm about to show you. And when we get that list, I can set up the users, and then I'll give you an overview today. But after I set you up as a user, you can log in and you'll probably come up with some more questions. And next month, or whenever we have our next meeting to go over the building analytics, we can answer those questions. But first I want to say that every month I'm going to generate a report and send it out, and we can discuss the report every month and then go to the meeting, and we can have Schneider employee, Abram can sit in on it if he would like, and Chinese Hospital employees, and we'll discuss the things that need to be fixed, and then we'll close them out and move on to the next one and start working through all these issues. So that being said, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, we got you, Bill.
Okay. This is the home page of Building Analytics, and there's a little bit of information here. This is the BA Lite setup, so we don't have avoidable costs in it. But there's a few things you can look at on the home page. There's the building on the map, and it's going to stay blue because there's no avoidable costs. It'll break down into different last month's top diagnostic results, and it'll tell you, what equipment name, the note summary, and avoidable cost is going to be 0, but it breaks it down into energy, maintenance, and comfort. So this one had a comfort priority of 10, so that's our highest priority. Room air temp, lower than set point, so you can see why that. And this breaks down last month's, yesterday's top diagnostics, and that's about all you're going to get off of the home page with VA Lite. But next I'm going to go to the Diagnostics Module, which is the most important, the meat and potatoes of building analytics. This is where you can see, you can break down what diagnostics you want to look at. You can, the default is view all, and you can select as many days as you want to do. If you just want to look at yesterday, today, you can select the start and end date here. And then if you want to drill down and get more specific, you can break it down by equipment class, air handler, boiler, chiller, zone equipment, etc. Equipment type, it's even more specific. And I use this one a lot. If I have a problem with one unit or something, I'll just go find the unit name, which are the same as they are in SBO or structure wear. And you can make any of these selections you like and hit generate data, and it'll filter out your results. So, you know, this fan I selected, there was no results that day, but there's a lot of them on the VAV stuff. You can also go into these filters, note summary, like if you're looking for, you know, specific error, like maybe sensor error, to generate, and there's no sensor errors right now, but that you can use that filter right there, tracking code, disregard that. Another new feature that we have is this result only. So like I did earlier on that exhaust fan, so I hit generate, it shows this one deal. There's no codes, there's not a problem. But if I select this checkbox results only, it'll filter that out. So you won't get just regular checks that it did. You'll only get results of problems. But being said, I'm gonna get back to the beginning here. So the last day, I've got all the filters removed. And this is all the diagnostics from yesterday. And the top diagnostic is CV4419, room air temp lower than set point, heating and cooling set points close together, no night setback. And you'll see there's one task created for it, which I'll create. I'll get into that a little bit later. We've already discussed no avoidable costs. This one has a comfort priority of 10, so they're saying this is one of the highest priority on our comfort level. A maintenance priority of 2. You can sort by energy, maintenance, or comfort. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the diagnostic. You just click on it once and it'll bring you down and show you more information. Show you the type of unit, equipment name. You can show the associated equipment. It'll show you the points that we're taking on this unit, which is cooling set point, heating set point, occupancy, and space temp. And show you the diagnostic is room air temp lower than set point. It'll give you causes for this, you know, zone unit, supply damper, valve malfunction, poor AHU, discharge air temp, poorly tuned damper, valve control, sensor error. And the other point on this diagnostic is the room air heating and cooling temperature set points are close together. The average temperature difference between the 2 set points is 2 degrees. I've noticed this on just about all the VAV boxes. Building Analytics recommends that you have at least a 3-degree difference. That's something we can discuss more later. It's more of a technical question. We can always change that threshold, but Building Analytics is telling you that if possible, 3 degrees is the difference you'd like to have. But another thing here is there's no night setback setup. I'm thinking since this is a hospital, you're going to have the same set points all day and night anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we might have to remove that from being flagged in the future because this is a hospital. It's 24 hours a day. But we can discuss that a little more later.
Yeah, Bill, it looks like we're getting some. It looks like we're getting some head nods on that. So you're probably right. And just so that everybody here is aware, you know, this is really the onset of this, and we'll go through it on a monthly basis to discuss what those top items are as we go through them. If parameters need to be changed, if one, you know, maybe is a known issue, but you know you're waiting on something, we can, you know, remove that flag. So keep in mind that all of this is really, it's customizable to meet your needs and to really help direct the attention and the efforts in the right place. So as we go through this, all of that can be adjusted if needed or reconfigured in a way that better suits you. And so if something's coming up now and you say, well, that's kind of nuisance, well, then no problem. We can get that off of the flag list, and that way you're not going to be continually bothered by the same thing that you know exists. So go ahead.
Quick question. A lot of the flags that we're getting on the temperature differentials are because we have adjustable thermostats in some of the spaces. And when the staff changes those temperatures, they'll move it 4 or 5 degrees, and then we get the low temp alarm or a high temp alarm because they've changed them. Is there a way when the local set points have been changed that can it identify that and not give us a flag on a time delay?
Bill, did you hear that question?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, we might have to look into taking like the effective set point and removing the cooling and heating set points if it's adjustable that way. Yeah, we can definitely look into doing that. Shouldn't be a big problem. I'll have to look in the system to see if there's an actual output of the effective set point that takes all that into account in the slide state account also.
Yeah, so it's probably whether or not we can get that information in the system, and as long as we can, I would imagine that we could configure that in a way that makes a little bit more sense. Also, where you did see those actions, those can be you can log in and add actions to that as well. So I mean, it's a good running list for maybe items for Abram to look in when he comes out on a visit, or if you guys want to just pull it up and maybe track some of your activities. It can be used for all of that. It's really whatever's going to make the most sense for you guys. So sorry, Bill, I didn't mean to derail you. I just wanted to kind of give that overview.
That's all right. Just going to go show you these graphs, and then a lot of diagnostics will have even more graphs, but this one's kind of plain and simple. But you see these bars here, these different color bars. So room air temp lower than set point. This bar is filled in all the way across, so it's saying room air temp was lower than set point the whole time. Same for heating and cooling set points close together. Now, we already discussed and removed no night setback, but it's showing that was only flagging this part of the day and at the end of the day, of course, because it was when it expects to be unoccupied hours. But then it does show you down here, you have a graph, left side showing air temperature and the right side showing status. And it's color coded, just a good old line chart. But anyway, so going back to what Daryl just said about customizing building analytics. I mean, you can always email me, but this is a very handy thing to do. It's called request support. And if you see something in building analytics that looks like it's just a setup problem, that's something you want customized or removed from future diagnostics, you request support. And click that and put as many notes as you can, but it's tied to this diagnostic, so whenever you don't have to tell me all this information in diagnostic, I'll get all that. Just tell me what's wrong with it, and I'll make those changes. We'll get an email and I'll follow up with you immediately. But on the other hand, this is what I'll do when I create reports. I'll go through and look at these top diagnostics, and I will create a task in Building Analytics. And I'm going to go ahead and click that. This is when you find an issue, when Building Analytics finds an issue that we need to take action on. So when I do them, I'm going to first assign them myself, and we can discuss it how you want to do it. I assign it to myself, and then we can discuss it in our monthly meetings, and then reassign it. I can reassign it to hospital staff, or if you think it's something that y'all can look at, or if it's mechanical, or I can assign it to Abram, something he can look at on his next PM. But each diagnostic will have a different, or I can assign it to myself if it's something that I need to change in Building Analytics. But you select assignee, which I always select myself when I do these monthly reports, and I'll put in notes, what should be done, increase differential and set points, which, we're going to have to discuss this one a little more. And then whenever the assignee get this, they'll open up the task and they'll put what they have done, mark it complete, and we'll go from there. So I'll show you the task module. This is the module. Whenever you create a task, and from Diagnostics, it comes over to the task module. And just like Diagnostics, you can filter, building equipment, class equipment. You can filter the end and start date. It defaults to the last year. You can filter by completed, in process, or open, or assignee, or you can put in a filter for words. And I created a few tasks this morning, and we've already discussed these two here: room air temp lower than set point, and heat and cooling set points close together. Might need to look at taking the effective set point, and I'll go ahead and show you how to make a note. So whenever you go to this task module, you can hit this pencil here, and you can reassign it as needed, change the status. If it's in process, something you're looking at, Bill will make changes to set up. I know what needs to be done, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of notes in there, but you're going to be as detailed as possible of what you've done. If it's completed, go ahead and mark it complete, and hit update task. And it'll email whoever created task and whoever it's assigned to and whoever changed it. Everybody will get an email and note, and I can go in there and make note myself. But this other task I created this morning, I'm going to click on it. This is the chill water secondary loop flow higher than set point. And, like Daryl said, maybe this first meeting or so, there might be some things in here we have to just clarify and dial in. But once we get them dialed in and remove all these false positives, then we'll, over the life of the contract, we'll start finding issues every month and fixing them. But with my notes I put here in the recommendations, I need to first investigate that I have the proper flow set point for chill water secondary loop, which is this point name, chill water flow set point, and the proper flow point is this point name. There's a huge discrepancy in the flow versus set point. Maybe y'all know, maybe you're running pumps in the hand or something. If these are the proper points, we should investigate why the flow is so much higher than set point. And if you have any ideas on that now, let me know. If not, we can discuss that later when we get more into the technical part of it. You can also, if you want to see the diagnostic that I was looking at based on this task, you come to this red magnifying glass, hit View Diagnostic, and it'll show you exactly what I was looking at when I created this task, like I did in Actions. This is just more the graph flow higher than set point. It was flagging all the time. This will show you the chill water mixing valve position at any given time. How many pumps were running? Shows you one here, the blue, and then the loop status was on. The status is on this side, showing you on. Show you the temperatures, outdoor air temp, chill water supply and return during this time. This might be something to look into. Chill water loop differential pressure looks like it's humming. That might be something we need to look into, maybe tuning the loop for controlling DP The set point's 15 and our DP is kind of all over the place. And this is where where this diagnostic was flagged. Chill water flow was up around 400 gallons per minute, and the set point looks like it's about 50 gallons per minute. So I need to, that seems way off to me. I don't know if it's really that far off or if I've just got the points selected wrong, but it seemed pretty straightforward where I looked. So we'll have to just discuss that more. Maybe Abram can give me a little heads up on that. But here's another graph. But that's the diagnostics and tasks. That's the main things you'll be using. And I realize this is a lot of information to take in one day or doing a screen share. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions coming up in future meetings, and after you get your hands on this, you'll come up with some more questions. So we will move forward with that. The next module I'm going to show you is Analysis Builder. It takes a little while to load. I thought I preloaded it, but I must have lost my internet connection. While this is loading, is there any questions so far? Anything I need to revisit, or everything seemed pretty clear so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll just have to play with it to really get used to it.
Yeah. Here's Analysis Builder. This is a really handy tool. If you see something in a diagnostic and you want to get actual real raw data from any points you want to see, maybe you want to look at an air handler. You just double click to drill down into the air handler page, and then there's boiler, chiller, etc. Maybe you want to compare the supplier temp. You just double click on it, it'll show you the supplier temp for the last day. You can go back, I believe, 90 days. So I don't know if we have 90 days worth of data, but you can go back as far as you want. With this is so there's so much information, you don't want to get your range too high, because then it'll be hard to view. But you know, you can look at the supplier temp and hover over any given time. You know, at 6 a.m. it was 54.99 degrees. And maybe you want to compare that to what your chill water valve is doing at the time. And you see the supplier temp down here is in purple. You can see that there's supplier temp, and it'll show you the unit name and point if you hover over it. And then down here in green is a chill water valve command. And you can compare, you know, there's any combination of things you want to do. You can select those points. Maybe you want to put outside air temp on there too. And then let's say you pulled up made a graph for a certain day, and you want to share it with me or somebody else. You can go up to properties and name it. You know, HU1 SAT. Put a description in there if you want. Shared read and write. You can click shared read and write if you want to have people change it and be able to look at it. Hit apply. That'll shared read and write means it's not just saving it for you, it's saving it for everybody else. But now you can see the name changed up here. You can click save, and that's saved. And to go back and open it, well, it looks like I'm already in it, so it won't let me open it. But you can click the folder and open any visualizations that anybody's saved in the past. this is a handy tool that you just have to play with and use it for whatever you want to use it for. Whenever I look at a diagnostic and I see things that, you know, I just need a little bit more information, a little bit more real-time raw data, this is when I use Analysis Builder. But any questions on that? Like you said, you're probably going to have to play with it, but.
Rich, any questions? What's that?
All right. I'm going to show you a report now. Since this is BA Light, there's not going to be avoidable cost, but so this the home page, the front page is kind of not that valuable. This is the main thing that I will look at every month. I will run a report, and then I will look at these top 5 issues in energy, maintenance, and comfort. You can see, you know, the life of the report was 62 days, so this was flagged every day. And we've already talked about how we need to change the VAV set points and make no 9 setbacks. So when I make those changes next month, we won't get those. We'll have real diagnostics to look at. But based on these top diagnostics, these top 15, I will select a handful of these every month and go into diagnostics and create tasks like I showed you earlier, and then we will discuss it in the meeting. You can see the energy ones, we've already been over that type of diagnostic. Chill water secondary loop, that's the one I just showed you. Here's another one, MCI, chill water secondary loop, differential pressure lower than set point. That occurred every day with a maintenance priority of 6. Hot water primary loop, supply temp higher than set point. This one occurred every day. Chiller status data mismatch. That brings me to a note I made when I was doing setup, and this we may have to get back to you on this, but if anybody knows off the top of their head, are the chiller output points, are those actual chiller enabled, which just allows the chiller to run, or is that a hardwire output that makes the chiller run as soon as that's on? Does the chiller cycle on and off, or are we controlling the actual? When we tell it on, it's going to run until we tell it not to. Does anybody know that?
I believe the chiller has an internal set point of 43 degrees that it tries to maintain for the chill water temperature.
Okay. Alright, that tells me I need to make sure my points and heights are chiller enabled instead of chiller run. But so that might be what that's referring to on that. But that was a note I made when I did the setup.
We need to confirm that on our end as well.
There's another big one that a building analytics finds is possible simultaneous or excess heating or cooling, no supply temp reset. Simultaneous heating or cooling is calculated by measuring the inlet air temp versus the outlet air temp. So if the mixed air temperature is say 65, and then on the supply side the heating and chill water valves are closed, but we gain 10 degrees, it's going to flag it and say, check your hot water valve for leaks, calibrate your sensors, check your sensor locations, etc. And then no supply temp reset. It's saying that the supply temperature set point was constant. Consider calculating or resetting the supply temp based on terminal load or outdoor air temp or however you want to do it, but that's an energy saving opportunity by implementing a supply temp reset schedule. And not only does it do it for supply air temp or air handlers, it'll flag if the chill water supply temp stays constant. It'll recommend to reset that up as the outside air temperature goes down, and vice versa with the hot water supply temp. But as we get into doing more of these monthly meetings and reports, we'll get into some of that and discuss that. We've already been over these comfort diagnostics are the same as the energy diagnostics this month, but once we clean that up and get that proper set point and remove no night setback, those won't be on future reports. And at the bottom of the report here is the task summary. It shows you the top open tasks, which are the 3 that I created. And then as we complete them, there'll be top completed tasks, and it'll show you those at the bottom too. So if you ever, those will be on every report. And I will email the report out to, that'll be something when you send me the list of users, I'll send the report out to everybody that's on that list, or I'll customize it to whoever you want to receive it, and then I'll ask, would you like to have a meeting, a screen share like this to go over the report and look into the task and then reassign them based on who's responsible or who you want to take a look at it. I'll email a report out every month. The one last thing I was going to show you was the Documents Module, where I will load, there's no files in there yet, but every month I'll load the report. And so if you ever need it, if you ever lose it or want it, it'll always be in Building Analytics forever. So,
Bill, this is Daryl. Do you have like a target in terms of reviewing that report? Like, are we looking at quarterly, or is it based on kind of as needed from the staff, or how is it? And I apologize, I don't have that information, but can you share with me, I guess, what your understanding is?
It's set up as monthly, but it's really up to the customer, however y'all want to do it. We can do it quarterly if you don't have time to meet every month, and we can spend more time every quarter. I think I have like an hour and a half every month. So if we do it every quarter, that'll give me more time to do a more comprehensive report and discuss in more detail. But if we do it every quarter, there may be some things that I find in January, if we do it in the next meeting in March, that might be cleared out. So they might go some time, or they may be found doing other things and fixed before. But it's really up to you. However y'all want to do it, y'all can discuss that and let me know.
All right, so I guess James will probably be in touch, and we'll figure out something that works. And typically, what that would look like, is Bill would have the report, the most recent report, and you kind of go through it, and you go through each item that was on it, and you discuss, either he can go over the item and explain what it is and how it's flagged and why it's flagged, and then some possible causes for that, right? And then it will typically get assigned out. So whether you say we'll have Abram look at that the next time he's here, or somebody from your staff wants to take the lead on that, we can assign that accordingly. And or if maybe a parameter needs to be changed or the threshold needs to be adjusted. But basically, that's typically the way that most of our customers handle those meetings, is either like on a quarterly basis or monthly basis, and just real quickly go through it. Let's talk about it. What are the possible causes? Something need to be adjusted, and who's going to take the lead on it? Is Schneider running with it, or do we think it may be a mechanical issue, and one of you guys want to take a look at it? And that's typically it. And like I said, well, first of all, that's typically the way that I've seen it done and way it work effectively. In addition to that, you guys can be adding tasks to that. So if you know for sure that there's something, you know, that you want Abram to look at, or that you want, you know, maybe Bill to provide his opinion on, we can add those tasks to it, and it's just a way to kind of track and follow up on those. So, I mean, I think it's a good way to kind of centralize those activities.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would say monthly,
Initially.
unless, you know, Dennis objects, at least initially, just because we still have a lot of problems we need to kind of iron out. And,
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, so I think monthly, like at least for the short term.
So Bill, we'll work on setting something up where we can maybe have Abram's visits, you know, coincide with that, either the same day or really quickly following it, and
Right.
maybe the same day would be best. And you know, we just do it quick in the morning, right? I think Bill, what time zone are you in? Are you Central?
I'm Central, yeah.
So there's no problem doing it early, right? When Abram first gets here, and running through it real quick, and then, you know, that way Abram's kind of got his punch list for the day, and if there's anything else that you guys want to take a look at. And so we'll do monthly. Initially, if it gets to be too much, we can adjust it accordingly. And then
Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea.
James, you'll provide the list of users so that we can create the logins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no problem.
When is the next on-site PM, you know? I guess today, right?
The 8th.
So we have, I think they're set up for monthly right now.
Yep.
Is that right? And we had 2 visits this month because I wanted Abram to be here for the kickoff for building analytics. But they also had, I think, a generator test day scheduled on the 8th, which he was already scheduled for. So there's really 2 visits this month because we wanted to make sure that he was just basically there for both of those items.
All right, well that works. I mean, I can make the changes I need to make and purge the diagnostics and rerun them, and that way I guess a week from today, we can do this again, and we'll have, you know, hopefully some real issues to discuss and go from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I'll be here with those.
Do you want me to go ahead and send a meeting invite for next week?
Yeah, I mean,
Thursday, next Thursday
You come
at
too?
7 a.m.
Sometime
7 a.m. your time.
we on the phone.
Well, what?
Do you want to do it next
Maybe
week, or do you want to do it next month?
Next week, where it's maybe like maybe earlier, maybe even like 6, because Abram, you're coming in early for
Yeah, I'm going like 4
the
months.
generator. Yeah, so maybe just so it's
So
kind of earlier within Abram's visit, so it's not at the very end. Probably, probably around 6, because we should be wrapped up with the generator test by then.
That'll be
So
around 8 Bill's time.
yeah, Bill, that'd be probably around 8 your time, 6 our time. Would that work?
That'll work.
okay.
Right on.
That being said, if you'll just, Daryl or whomever, send me an email of everybody that wants access to building analytics, Schneider and Chinese hospital employees. I need their name and email address. And then, also, I guess that would be the same list of people that were attendees in this meeting. And then I will get a fresh report by next week, and we will go from there.
Sounds good. Does anybody have any questions or input, feedback, kind of on what are your thoughts on the tool so far?
It looks pretty good. I mean, just this stuff pulled up so far, because we've been having all kinds of issues with the chill water loop. So I think just the stuff you found on there already with the chill water, if we can investigate that more, hopefully that might fix some of our problems. And then also this temperature differential thing. We've been having a lot of issues with the VAV boxes hunting, and the heating water valve, going full open, and then like a few minutes later full shut, and the temperature just all over the place. And That makes me think maybe that's behind some of it. So it seems like we could definitely use it to track down some of these ongoing issues we've had, which would be good.
So it sounds like it kind of reflects some of the issues that you guys already knew existed, or at least were suspicious of. That's
right,
good.
and definitely stuff that we're sort of still haven't been able to find a for sure cause. Just because some of the, within the program, like Abram helped us set up a lot of, charting and stuff. But that was more recently, and like originally, when we first got the program, there wasn't much set up, so it was really difficult to like kind of troubleshoot and figure out what was going on. So I think this will help a lot.
And I think the more that you use it too, the more valuable it will get, right? As you're going through and really customizing everything, adjusting the thresholds, maybe adding items to it yourself. Really, that's the initial report, I think, does require just a little bit of input, and it's from both sides, right? How is this being generated, and what's flagging this? And you guys talk about maybe the individualities of your site, and then we kind of get started rolling with it. But from what I've seen so far, at other sites, it's definitely been a really valuable tool for tracking and just staying top of those things that we already can see within the system. So. Once you guys do have the logins too, as we go through the meetings, and you have any questions, and maybe you want to remember how to get to an old report or something like that, Bill's super helpful with answering those. If you want to log in and just quickly show me again where that was, there's definitely no issues with that. And yeah, I think that you guys have already utilized the Service Bureau's remote support, and I would say that as things come up in between Abram's visits, if you do want to get some eyes on it real quickly, and maybe even give Abram a run start for when he does come out with identifying part numbers, stuff like that, definitely feel free to leverage and utilize that. And I'll give you my card, and you guys always reach out to me if you have any issues or any questions as well.
So when we have a situation like recently, there's been a couple times when we've lost our screens. And I know we've contacted Abram, and he said that they were deleted and you had to reload them or something like that, is what I heard. It came back to
Yeah, so that was, I think, a one-time issue where some of the link for the top panel got deleted somehow, so I re-added that. That's something that...
Is that something they can
do as well as I can do,
services?
yeah.
So then we don't have to bother you off hours, we could just use the service.
Yeah, and it's really a quicker response, we have, as a service agreement customer, you guys are always going to have priority for getting somebody dispatched to your site, no matter what. But the truth is we're in the Bay Area. There's traffic. There are other assignments. It's depending on who's available, right? You may not get a familiar face if we can get you somebody quicker otherwise. So by having the Service Bureau, really, and the best way to look at it is if it can be fixed from here, it can be fixed remotely, right? If Abram's going to have to go, climb up in a ceiling or something like that, obviously that's going to be a limitation for the Service Bureau. But the majority of issues, like the one that you brought up, absolutely. And I really can't say enough good things about Bill and Keith's team over there. Really, I mean these guys are kind of the creme de la creme, and that's why they're in the positions that they're in. Is they're extremely smart. They've been doing this for a long time. They're not just behind a screen. They've climbed in the same ceilings and been in the same mechanical spaces. So they know what causes these issues, and they've seen it in a number of different markets. Maybe not your facility, but I guarantee in a facility, similar, right, at another hospital somewhere. So they're a really valuable asset, and this, like I said, this tool can just help us track those activities. And if at some point, Dennis or James, if you guys do want to turn on that energy portion and try to calculate some of those energy savings and capture that, feel free to let me know, or Kendra, you can reach out to Kendra, and we can help walk you through that, and help if it's a target of yours or something like that, we can help you kind of track that for your own metrics. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? All right, and so you give me the list of names.
Okay.
Bill, I'll send you our information, and then I guess we'll talk in on the 8th.
All right, sounds good. Thank y'all.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you,
Bill. I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, drive good one.
All right, take care. All right.
And so then once he gets the list, then he'll just send us a link how to log on.
Yeah,
to this and
everybody get their
everything?
individual login.
Okay.
You know, log in, reset your password if you want that type of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like I said, it's always hard to watch somebody click all these things and then you go in there and try to do it. So I mean, feel free to reach out. They're there. That's specifically what they're there for is to help you walk you through that. You know, we definitely believe in the tool and see the value and have really seen it worked out at a number of different customer sites. So we want you guys to see the same thing. So, you know, any adjustments, any custom tailoring that we can do, definitely just let it be known, and then you know we'll see whatever we can do on our end to make that work. So
Is this program like a web-based?
yeah,
So you can log in from any computer?
I do
as long as
believe
you have your
so.
credentials?
that's my understanding.
Or is it like solely for this
No.
computer?
No, yeah, it's web based.
It's web-based. Any computer that has internet access can log in and get the report.
So you can grab the report, or you can run it on a specific piece of equipment or data. And one of the things that I'm almost hesitant to say it because it's not. I'm trying to carve out a way for our customers to utilize, you know, some of the same backbone that we use for remote access. I'd say that's definitely further down the road, but I'm trying to explore it as an option right now, so that if you do get an issue in the middle of the night, somebody wants to jump in and help out the on-site engineer. But it's not there yet. However, this is web-based, so you can use that tool to kind of flag it. And within the tool, a lot of times there's recommendations, you know, things to look at, stuff like that. But again, there's just like with most things with our system, there's a ton of flexibility and customization that can be done. So as we go through it, things need to be adjusted. We'll do that. But if nothing else, it'll keep us on task on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of tracking the same issues and moving forward. Sound good?
Good.
All right. Thanks again. I appreciate you guys making the time.